Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
Beat me if you can! Come on! It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my brother Tommy. How you doing?
I'm good.
And also joining us is our good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. How's it going, man?
It's fine, Daniel.
Very fine. Good to hear. But here we are back at it for another episode of In The Kliq. So much to talk about. For this episode, of course, we're going to talk everything about NXT and Friday Night Smackdown. Let's just jump right into it because we've been waiting to get into it. NXT this week. So much to get into. Obviously, the big story was Samoa Joe on the hunt looking for Karrion Kross. And Karrion Kross, obviously on NXT, looked extremely badass and like the playing mind games with Samoa Joe, which is interesting because of the different presentation of him on Monday Night Raw this week. And Richard, listen, we all know you're a huge fan of Karrion Kross, and that's been the big debate all week long. Up, you're wearing your Killer Kross shirt right now as we speak, and that was like the number one topic this week, or one of the main topics this week in all the pro wrestling websites, podcasts,
dirt sheets,
yeah, all that stuff. It's just the booking of Karrion Kross, who made his big Raw debut this past Monday. Actually, we were recording our last podcast while that was going on, and so I'm sure after you were done recording you caught it. Listen, we know what happens now at this point. He made his big debut, no Scarlet. His entrance was very stripped down. Came in, took on Jeff Hardy, and lost in 2 minutes. But Jeff Hardy did cheat by having his feet on the ropes. And then he cut a promo afterwards saying, Jeff, this is just the beginning. I'm going to get revenge. I'm paraphrasing there. But nonetheless, a lot of people were very upset because they were very bummed to see the NXT champion get, I guess, jobbed out. I don't know what's the right word for, how he was booked on Raw this week. So, Richard, I would love, just your 2 cents, what you thought of this whole thing. I mean, Twitter, everyone was exploding with the reaction. So, please,
your platform.
Let me know what you think of this whole situation.
Well, as you know, I am a pretty big fan of Mr. Kross.
Yes.
So if anyone should be upset by Monday night, wouldn't it be, I don't know, me?
Yeah, you're the first person I thought of.
However, he loses to a former world champion, one of the most decorated wrestlers in the business,
a fan favorite.
A fan favorite. It's the first time in front of an audience for Raw in 71 weeks.
70 weeks, yeah.
Everything was pretty fan appeasing on SmackDown,
right,
on the pay-per-view, and on Raw. And within minutes of this loss, the internet had already come up with these scenarios that, he's got heat for saying small guys in NXT and blah, 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 blah. And, well, that's not how they debut someone the right way. And it's like, well, in the past, they didn't send people off like they did Dean Ambrose. Maybe WWE does things differently now. And Kross is not getting buried because he's still the NXT World Champion. And if they were punishing him for something he said, he wouldn't be on TV at all, because that's how you punish someone. You lose your star power, you lose your spotlight, and you lose money when you're not on TV. So it doesn't make any of the scenarios don't make sense. Plus, if you followed Kross in Impact Wrestling or Lucha Underground or even AAA, this is setting up a classic Kross feud. If you follow what happened, Jeff Hardy cheated to win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, had he just done the roll-up, Kross probably would have kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
He put his feet up on the ropes, which is a heel move, but if you're trying to get a win and get yourself in the game again, because if you beat a champion, you would think that's some good credibility. I might get a title shot with him or with Bobby Lashley down the road because I just beat a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, it doesn't hurt anything because he's also a seasoned veteran, which means he knows the tricks of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you pay attention to what Kross said afterwards, you would assume that there's going to be some punishment to follow. This is a man that took out Eddie Edwards in Impact Wrestling and then started stalking his friends, including the Sandman, where he locked him in a closet and waterboarded him as punishment.
Oh my God.
So to me, this is building up story. It's not necessarily about, oh, well, this guy needs his win. Vince McMahon, Triple H, they don't look at, oh, well, they need their W's to get a good recognition. No, you don't. You need a good storyline. You need to be on TV. Plus, they were probably really crunched on time for TV, considering how quick it went and how quick the Bobby Lashley match went.
Mm-hmm.
Raw went by real quick this week. They had a lot stuffed in it. Also, I'd like to add, because we didn't talk about this ahead of time, but this got on my nerves, all the people complaining about Goldberg being back. Here's the thing with Goldberg. Mm-hmm. Goldberg is there to be a sacrificial lamb for Bobby Lashley, so Bobby Lashley is more credible, thus making him look more appetizing for a Brock Lesnar, for him to beat Brock Lesnar later on.
Yeah, well, and absolutely. And I think for me, I'm with you as far as for Bobby Lashley to continue and add more credible wins to his title reign to make it more legendary.
He's not beat a legend.
Yeah, so beats Goldberg, and then maybe potentially Brock Lesnar. So those are two top guys. And then whoever is the baby face to dethrone him, they're going to get the ultimate rub. So this is long-term storytelling. So yeah, I hate that. I mean, Goldberg, he's lost 2 in a row, his last 2 matches with Braun at WrestleMania last year, Drew McIntyre Royal Rumble this year. He only does 2 matches a year, so this is his second contract required match. But yeah, I think at this point, he is a sacrificial lamb to add another big win to Bobby Lashley's title reign. And then long term, whoever is the babyface, I think a lot of people want to see Big E to be the one to come over to Raw, cash in the Money in the Bank, beat Bobby Lashley, who beat up his 2 friends in the New Day. So it's long-term storytelling. So Goldberg is being used to eventually help put Big E over, if that makes sense.
In boxing terms,
100%.
In boxing terms, you call him a gatekeeper.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, he's just,
and it's a great move because who else do you have that's that credible?
Exactly. So for Bobby, it'll just be another big win. He's kind of reset his mindset as far as he's not going to party with the ladies. He's about being a monster killing machine out there.
He's a serious man.
I think after what we saw with Goldberg and Drew McIntyre, I think a younger opponent for Goldberg is the right move too. I think that you can get something out of Goldberg with a younger guy, especially with the strength of Bobby Lashley. My God.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but going back to the Karrion Kross thing, and I spoke already a lot on the previous episode, but I'll just say this. For me, I guess what I'm just kind of like upset about is, listen, we all love NXT as a brand, and what it means to us as wrestling fans, a lot of the elements there that take us back or nostalgia for like the 90s, the Attitude Era. And so when we see members of the NXT roster not get used properly to what we've seen, how they've been treated at NXT, I think for us, we're like, oh, is this a sign that maybe Vince doesn't care about NXT? Or, we always see people come up from NXT and they don't get the continuing presentation that we're used to. So, I mean, that's what kind of went through my head. I was kind of just worried for Kross and his long-term
here's
character.
Here's the thing. Most NXT people come into WWE and just have a match, and it's showy, and that's they're showing you who they are. Kross came into WWE with a built-in storyline. That, I think, solidifies him in a safer place than your average person, including Lacey Evans. You think of Elias. You think of Heavy Machinery. They just came in flat. Kross is coming in with a vendetta against someone that the audience clearly loves. So they're establishing Kross way ahead of the curve that, all right, I don't know who this guy is if I don't watch NXT, but I don't like him. He's taking out my guy. I've been watching this guy for 23 years. And this guy just comes out of nowhere and he's going to torture him and do things to him.
Okay, let me ask you this. And I get what you're saying. And I think long term, like on the main roster, it is a re-debut for the masses who maybe don't watch NXT on the regular. I do hope that this will spark something in him. He goes on a tear and destroys Jeff Hardy and then maybe starts beating up all these other people. So in some ways, maybe that loss is what kind of motivates him to the Raw audience of him taking out people on the roster now in the main event scene.
And now he can take out this news came out today that Jeff Hardy's got COVID. So he's going to be out for 2 weeks, which means they can either have Kross eat people up till he comes back, or he can take out people that Jeff has been affiliated with. I think Hurricane Helms is still a producer there. He can attack him in the back like he just did with Regal. The Viking Raiders, or whomever, whatever.
Affiliates of Jeff Hardy, friends. And
I think people look at that situation of when Vince pulls people out of NXT and puts them into his system. Vince doesn't watch wrestling the way we watch wrestling. When he watches NXT, he's not watching a whole show. He's watching a segment for a guy that he's got his eye on and wants to see how he can make that work in his world. Vince doesn't watch a full episode. I think Vince pays attention and keeps an eye on certain talent that he thinks he can use, which is a smart move.
Yeah, he keeps tabs.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I would say it's a 50-50. Sometimes WWE messes up, and sometimes guys don't work well in that system, in the main roster.
I guess for me, let me ask you this. Let's talk about his entrance real quick.
Kross validated me, by the way, on Instagram for this.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. What, you posted your thoughts on this as well?
Oh, yeah. I got really angry yesterday.
Okay. Well, so let me ask you this, though.
I saw it.
His entrance, though, very stripped down, no Scarlet. What are your thoughts on that, though, as far as he has like this special entrance in NXT that was very much part of his character, the smoke, the lights, Scarlet.
Because of how this ended,
it's his aura.
I think this was more so to give the fans that moment with Jeff. Because Jeff came out to that music.
His old newer song. Music. Yeah. No more words.
So, and you're gambling with a new talent as to how the fans are going to react, because that audience, look at the ratings. Like there's 2 million people watch Raw and about.
No, it's like 1.6 now. I
1.6,
think 7 something like yeah.
But still that's about 100 or 1 million more than watch NXT on a regular basis.
Right.
So you've got 1 million more people. Are you going to invest in the guy with the entrance that you're not supposed to like, even though he's got a cool entrance and a hot woman with him? Or are you going to invest in the one that you want people to cheer for? I think that's how you got to look at it. Because I think they're playing a very close game to their vest of cards here. And I can see where they're going with it. And I don't think a lot of people are getting it right off the bat, which is smart, because as this is going to unfold, you're going to see the killer that is Karrion Kross.
I understand what you're saying, and I want to be optimistic that that's going to be the case. So
this is what he did in Lucha Underground and Impact. You'll see.
So we'll see how this goes. And I want to be optimistic that, because his style, his look is made for the main event or the
main roster.
Main roster scene.
Main event, main roster.
Yeah, that too. So I want to be optimistic that this is the beginning of something that we have not seen yet in WWE, including his time in NXT. So I do want to be optimistic of that and see what comes of that. So it's going to be, interesting to see how they're going to keep using him moving forward. Unfortunately, with Jeff Hardy, it was announced that he has COVID, so he's probably going to be gone for a couple weeks off TV. So I hope that doesn't put like a speed bump in Karrion Kross's storyline that's unfolding on Raw.
See, that's another thing, though. I feel like even if they put a speed bump there, I feel like he's in such a good position because he's got the top storyline in NXT, which to me might be the best storyline in WWE right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So let's get into it. So NXT this week, we saw Samoa Joe at the beginning of the show storm out to the ring. He was ready to fight, called out Karrion Kross, says, come out. Doesn't come out. William Regal comes out, tells him, no, you cannot do this. And Joe's like, but I was provoked. He says, no, you were provoked as a ref. and he's like, semantics, who cares? Like, I want Karrion Kross. And then throughout the night, Samoa Joe, we see just like standing in the back by the entrance way, waiting for Karrion Kross. They keep checking in on him.
I've got a question here.
Yeah.
Is WWE afraid to use the word concussion? Like I
don't know.
I've never seen them dance around this. Samoa Joe's not able to wrestle right now.
Maybe
to me, this is like
They'll say he's medically cleared.
Yeah, which is just like, what are you dancing around?
I'm just guessing. I wonder if maybe because remember, WWE has been sued at times for CTE.
They won that.
Yeah, so I don't know if they just don't want to use the word concussion because that can be used against them in some way. I have no idea.
That could be it.
But it's not a storyline if the guy's actually had some concussion issues. Like and it didn't even happen in a wrestling ring.
Did it happen? Did they ever mention it with Daniel Bryan when he came back?
They kept saying medically clear, like he's finally medically clear, but they never really said fully what his injuries were.
He went to a local medical facility where he became medically clear.
Yes, yeah. They got their words, they got their language that they follow for describing all these certain situations in WWE.
Got it all figured out.
But at the end, after the main event, we see Joe come out to the ring again, wanted Kross, and then he saw a car pull up, a black car, Kross's car. He goes out, grabs it was some other guy driving it, and Kross was somewhere else, and Joe comes to the ring, and you see Kross with, like, on a selfie style with the camera, and he calls out Samoa Joe, and you see a beat up William Regal knocked out, and he takes off, and he says, with the NXT title I can go anywhere. So I'm digging this aspect of Karrion Kross that, like, it's a what's the word? A thriller, a mind thriller, or
mind games.
Yeah, mind games. But like he's trying to show that he's in control.
Yeah,
Samoa Joe is just so angry with rage he wants to beat him up. But Karrion Kross is showing that he's like
that's what Kross does.
Like Samoa Joe's trying to find him, and Kross is one step ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, what'd you think of this whole storyline, how it played out here?
I love it. I mean, it's the Roddy Piper. Right when you think you've got all the answers, I change all the questions.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
I also want to say that Joe's intensity was so unreal this week. It was just, all the segments with him throughout the night were just top notch. And, the ending angle with Kross having attacked Regal, it was very fantastic hook to leave us on, which ramps us with Kross's detestability as a heel. It brings a whole new level, I think.
Well, yeah, ends on a cliffhanger.
Right.
And we want to see what happens to William Regal next. And he's okay.
He's 10% of the Kross that he's been other places so far.
Right.
And
so far.
Every week, like another percentage goes up. It's just like.
And that's why I kind of wish what we're getting now, I was assuming we were going to get like last year, maybe with like Keith Lee and stuff, when we saw him lurking, when Keith Lee won the double titles off Adam Cole at the Great American Bash, and he was up there with Scarlett. I was hoping more we're going to get like these mind games that he would like, hunt all these victims of him, which
I'm thinking of the Foreigner song Head Games.
Well, yeah, because last year when he debuted his first run pre-injury, he was like, I don't want to say like Goldberg, but he would go out there and just squash guys, which is cool. Hey, great to beat him up, but I want to see more of the character development, and it's like we're finally getting that now, where it's like this is pretty cool.
Well, which is what they're if he's coming up to Raw, which is what they're already showing us. Like he's coming in with that in his pocket. And he's not having to squash people to impress everyone.
And that for me makes more engaging television, entertaining television, just the storyline, backstage
100%.
segments. Yeah,
like a winning streak is like, we had the Goldberg streak. So what streak really matters anymore?
I guess Asuka was maybe like the last one.
Yeah. But I mean, like Asuka's went on and on and on. Goldberg, he was wrestling 2 or 3 guys in a night, and it's just
and the house shows back then, and actually, did WCW have house shows?
They did.
I would think so. Yeah.
He was one of the only main eventers that were at them.
Yeah, so that's
And they would come to
house
town.
shows were mid carders, and then occasionally some heavyweight here.
Yeah.
When WCW would have house shows come to town, it'd be at the Oakland Auditorium.
So I mean, like I said, I'm really excited for this storyline. Rich, I don't know if you saw the rumor of what this is leading towards. Or shall I say it? I mean,
sure.
Okay,
We'll
so
debunk whatever you got.
Okay, so the rumor is that this is going to lead to a match for NXT TakeOver 36, which is Sunday, August 22nd, the day after SummerSlam. So it is going to be in a match. That's what the rumor.
Wait, the day after SummerSlam or before?
After SummerSlam.
Is that a Monday?
No, Sunday. SummerSlam's on a Saturday. Saturday, August 21st.
What?
I know. Yeah, they flipped. It's really, switcheroo this time. SummerSlam is on a Saturday in Las Vegas, and then TakeOver 36 is going to be on a Sunday, I believe, from Florida, from the Capitol Wrestling Center. That's kind of what the tentative plans are. Yeah. So it's going to be a flip-flop as far as what we're used to. TakeOver on Saturdays and the WWE pay-per-view on Sundays. So it's a switcheroo. And it was also announced that TakeOver, Walter will be defending the NXT UK Championship against Dragunov also on that show. So stacking up already with 2 big matches already. I'm excited. So yeah, it's going to be good. So looking forward to that. Also at NXT, I kind of... Real quick, I just want to get your thoughts on Diamond Mine so far. I'm kind of a little underwhelmed right now of what they're doing.
I am too. It's like a cruiserweight faction.
Yeah, and I mean, it's cool that they're putting more emphasis on the cruiserweight title by having more of the bigger names, established stars on NXT go after it, like a Roderick Strong, for example, and his Diamond Mine faction. But
Rust.
But yeah, I'm just like, he has yet to describe or grab a mic and explain his decision.
I don't know why they're. I think that this is kind of like a detriment to NXT, where in the past, before there was any competition on Wednesdays, and NXT owned Wednesdays for years, NXT used to copy and paste their shows. So they would tape 2 shows at once and then kind of splice it together. And this feels like a victim of where that could have helped, where they could have had a talking segment and been able to edit.
Yeah, well, I guess for me, it's like, okay, we saw him debut with Diamond Mine. He attacked Kushida. It's like, okay, cool. But he has yet to grab a mic, cut a promo, and explain himself. Why is he back? We thought he was gone. Why did he form Diamond Mine? Like, what's all the reasoning behind all these recent decisions in his career? I just want to know more about Diamond Mine, because they just look like, a tag team, him and Tyler Rust, taking on Kushida and Bobby Fish this week. So I'm like, okay, are they a tag team now? Or I just want to know more of their thinking behind this. So it's just like, okay, I guess that's cool. I mean, they lost. I mean, but Rust was the one who got pinned from Kushida. So we'll see that unfold. But something else I wanted to ask you. So we didn't get to it last week, but we saw Mandy Rose debut on NXT, or come back to NXT, I should say. She was standing at the top of the ramp, just staring down. And then this week we saw Frankie Monet in a match against JC Jane, and Mandy Rose came out again, but this time on the table, posing, and Wade Barrett was in love.
I would too.
So I'm kind of curious what you think of Mandy Rose, one, being back with NXT.
I have a theory.
Okay.
One, I like it. I mean, it's star power for NXT, and I think Mandy's really good on the main roster, but I feel like she could hone her skills to a Trish Stratus level in NXT.
Yep.
I get the feeling almost like we might get a woman's faction with those 2, with the 2 from Robert Stone's group,
Jessie Camilla.
Yeah, Jessie Camilla and Aaliyah.
Well, Aaliyah, I think because remember she beat up Robert Stone last week, and I think she's supposed. I saw online that it was a trade. It was Aaliyah for Mandy Rose between Raw and NXT. That's how they're
putting Aaliyah on Raw.
Yeah, she's going to go to Raw. She hasn't
what
debuted
a mistake.
Yet.
She stinks in the ring still.
That's what a lot of people said. It's really interesting.
Where did you see that? Is that official?
Wrestle. I mean, until we see her on TV, but that's the rumor going around on various Twitter sites and news sites as well. So it was like a trade. For Mandy, it adds star power to the women's division because she's a big social media following.
Yeah,
I wonder
for the biggest storylines coming into the pandemic.
Yeah, I just wonder for her though. I mean, from an actual wrestling standpoint, good for her as far as being able to work on her craft and get better in the ring with that women's division at NXT because it's top notch. But at the same time, I wonder for from a big picture, might kind of suck for her because, on Raw, that's a bigger audience that her social media following can gravitate towards. So I wonder if she might feel it's a step back because she's on the smaller known show. But I don't know. That's
like saying I'm happy with the money I'm making post college, but if I go to grad school, I can make even more. So
yeah. So
if she can become like a better wrestler, better than she is already, and she can start having those competitive matches with Asuka, Bayley, Becky, that's different money. That's
Which
all kinds
comes
of different
back
money.
up. Yeah.
That's retirement money.
Okay. Gotcha. I hear what you're saying. So, there's a faction. We haven't really seen a female faction.
That's what I'm saying.
In NXT, have we? I'm trying to think. No. Something
The closest was Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha had a little thing going early on.
Okay. Another thing that's interesting is, are we seeing the beginning of the end of the way as far as no,
I don't think we really are, just based off of the way that, no pun intended, they're talking to each other.
Well, they're fighting. So Kyle O'Reilly has a match.
Austin's being real pathetic, and it's just like,
him and Austin Theory have a match. Kyle O'Reilly wins. Mm-hmm. Austin Theory goes back, and everyone's arguing. Johnny, Candace, Indy. Indy tells Austin if he wants to kiss Dexter,
let him kiss Dexter.
I was like, let him kiss Dexter. Freudian slip, obviously referring to herself, but Austin Theory is upset and he walks away with his gear and he does the hand gesture. Johnny doesn't respond. He's too busy arguing, and he just pouts, head down, walks away. Now, I wonder if that's his goodbye from NXT because, we talked about this, I think, last week when, Davey Boy Smith Jr., or he's just going by Harry Smith, had the dark match on NXT, before Smackdown last week. Austin Theory was also in that match. So I wonder if Austin Theory is going to be moving on up to SmackDown or Raw in the near future. And so this was the beginning of him.
He does. I hope he keeps that gimmick that he's doing, kind of the dumb jock gimmick.
Yeah, he's so good. His comedic timing.
That's one of my
great.
Top 5 favorite things on WWE television right now, including that's what we get into at Baron Corbin right now.
Yes, that was so good. So we'll keep an eye out for Austin Theory. A segment though I really did like, and I want to touch on it as well. They had a lot of good segments this week. I thought, Hit Row,
which is why I think we didn't get a Diamond Mine promo, because there was a lot of segments on the
other
show.
Segments, yeah. So Legado del Fantasma and Hit Row had a little face off. Legado del Fantasma was in the ring. Hit Row comes out and they're going back and forth, calling each other out. Right out of the gates, I thought this reminded me of DX versus Heart Foundation. Because remember,
I thought DX and Nation.
Okay, yeah, that too. Yeah, that's true.
Because you got the cool group, and then you got the kind of the squares. Yeah. even though Legado de Fantasma is pretty cool. So.
Yeah, they're cool too. But just the back and forth was great. And they kind of lucked out with this great little story as far as the history between Swerve and Santos, as far as they had some great battles last year for the Cruiserweight title, and now tables have turned. Swerve is now the North American champion, and Santos is going after him. So I like the continuity that they have here going, as far as, I'm the champion, you're coming after me now. And also, you guys, your group took me out by myself last year. Now I have my own group to back me up. So I thought it was great how this all is coming together. And even the guitar shot at the end with Swerve landed on Tommy, what's his name? Joaquin Wilde.
Joaquin Wilde, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm digging this whole storyline. Is there anything else that you're like about it? Okay, it's cool. I'm looking forward to the match, even though they're technically both heels. Hit Row is obviously more the baby face in this one, like the lesser of two evils, if that makes sense.
Sure.
It's coming off cool. Sure. And then we were talking off the air before we hit record. I think we're all in agreement. We're all big fans of Odyssey Jones already.
Yeah.
In
Holy
the
crap.
NXT breakout tournament.
God.
Dude, this guy is a big old monster, but he's great on his feet.
Very agile.
Yeah. Richard, what'd you think of his performance so far?
I think he ate Mark Henry. I loved it. I mean, if you you got to gauge how big this guy is when he's next to the referee or he's outside the ring and he's around normal sized people.
Yeah.
It's like he's the size of like 3 different people. Like he's a big man. Totally reminds me of Scott Norton. Just
Totally
a rhinoceros.
Scott Norton vibes, yeah.
So, okay, just in case for any of the younger people out there listening.
Yeah, YouTube Scott Norton.
Go watch his matches in WCW
people.
or New Japan Pro Wrestling. Former IWGP champion.
Yep.
Well, and also Scott Norton was the one who, anyone who watched Dark Side of the Ring, the Collision in Korea, he was very much he was
part of the interviews.
He was in there a lot for that. But no, Odyssey Jones, and he defeated Andre Chase. Andre Chase, he kind of looked like, to me, Zack Sabre Jr.
He looked like a Confederate soldier to me.
He did. I know.
He's been in Impact and on the Indies for a while. He's not bad.
But you notice they didn't give him like a vignette.
Yeah, we don't know much about him. And
because they lost.
He lost.
He lost. Makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, the South lost.
Yes, exactly.
He looked like Zack Sabre Jr. to me, but with a goatee. Maybe just more of his body.
But
he looked hillbilly cousin.
Yeah, but he looked a lot
American
more,
hillbilly cousin.
But he's not as skinny as Zack Sabre.
No. But I mean, he's tall, skinny.
Yeah.
But no, Odyssey Jones though just destroyed him. It was didn't last too long of a match here.
He's a brick.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to. I mean, it's interesting who's going to win this and what kind of push they're going to get. But I think it's always interesting to watch the other guys who maybe don't win or lose early and how they're going to be used still. Like all these guys, I want to anticipate they're all going to be stars within the next year or two.
Yeah, I think that's true with any sort of tournament in or out of wrestling. Is just to kind of pay attention. I mean, within wrestling, you look at Tough Enough, and none of the winners really went on to do anything, but a whole bunch of the competitors went on to do really big things. Yeah,
exactly. So it's something we didn't talk about last week, but last week we saw the debut of Cameron Grimes as the butler for LA Knight. Last week we saw him; he was cutting the lawn. He didn't want to do it, so he had the little kid cut it for him. And then this week he was trying to carry the luggage. Drake Maverick trying to came to his defense and help carry the luggage. LA Knight didn't like that, so it led to a match here. What'd you think of how the match played out? As far as Cameron Grimes was being told to hold up the $1 Million Championship constantly. It was like LA Knight was kind of bossing him around. What do you think of the whole dynamic between the two of them so far? I've been finding it pretty funny.
Yeah, I think it's very funny. Yeah, it's very funny. I love it. It's perfect because it's like, I feel like, goddamn, LA Knight, Eli Drake.
Yeah.
I feel like he looks like a bigger star because of the way that they're playing off of each other. He's getting the Cameron Grimes rub.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't need it, he can get it on his own, but it doesn't help to get it from someone else too.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And then, hey, Drake Maverick got the win because, LA Knight was busy trying to talk to Cameron Grimes outside to hold the belt up, and Drake kicked him and his head hit the belt and bounced back in. I don't know. I just feel bad for Drake Maverick, man, because, he doesn't have Killian Dane no more, who got released last month. And so Drake Maverick, I just wonder what's going to happen to him. He's just kind of floating around right now. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with them, but I'm loving this.
He got on TV.
Yeah, exactly. But
could he be a manager again?
Maybe. But with Cameron Grimes, though, he's going to be such a huge baby face after this is done. And
he's going to get his. LA Knight is going to get his comeuppance.
Yeah, and so I wonder how long this is going to last, though. You don't want to overdo it, but maybe
this is good storytelling.
Maybe at next takeover,
sure,
the blow off, and then Cameron Grimes gets the big win and therefore back on his own. So we'll see how it goes.
What I want.
Last thing we'll just touch on real quick is just the main event. Raquel Gonzalez take on Xia Li for the women's championship. Good match. Xia was working on the left knee of Raquel Gonzalez, but unfortunately it kind of ended oddly because it looked like Raquel was doing that corkscrew jump.
I think what was most odd, and this is where experience comes into play. Clearly, Xia Li got hurt and she got her ribs crushed, but Raquel not knowing to leave her alone while the referee checks on her, but she kept tugging at her and trying to get her to stand back up, and it's like, just back off for a minute. It's like when the crowd goes quiet, it's like just give it a minute.
And then
read the room.
Well, it was interesting because obviously something was wrong because the doctors came, and then Raquel went back to the other corner. and like the camera's just focused on her, and so I'm like, what's going on here?
For a long time.
Yeah, I was a little worried for Xia Li.
Yeah.
And obviously
Definitely cause for concern.
when they tried to finish the match, they went straight to the finish, and after Raquel powerbomb Xia Li, you hear Xia Li go, like this loud a scream, and I was like, I just hurt watching that.
Yeah.
I think she should have just dragged her into the middle and pinned her.
Yeah.
I mean, because like I was like, don't do it. If she's got her ribs hurt and you can do a power bomb.
I know. Don't punish her even more.
Did you see anything online? Is she okay?
I have not seen anything yet.
She just. I think it just she had the wind knocked out of her.
Maybe that. I mean, hopefully it's. It sucks because Xia Li got hurt here, and then 3 weeks ago hurt Mercedes Martinez. So it's just kind of been a weird, crazy, a couple instances of women's matches ending kind of oddly. So hope she's okay. But Raquel Gonzalez retains here, continues winning. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens next. They did announce NXT will be on Sci-Fi the next 2 weeks. And they actually pre-taped all those. So there are spoilers out there, so just be careful if you don't want to see that. Stay offline or don't search for it.
No dirt sheets.
But there's the results of what happened. And so there's a lot of stuff that's going to go on. And they're definitely on the road to TakeOver 36. So looking forward to all that stuff. All right, let's jump on over to Friday Night Smackdown this week. Man, another hot crowd.
Feels good having a crowd.
I know.
It's so. I mean, it adds so much to the show.
Now I feel like the pressure's on which city is going to be the first one to be the shitty city. And then we will label that crowd as the worst wrestling crowd.
Remember a couple years ago they were in Louisiana somewhere.
Oh yeah,
and that crowd was just terrible.
They were dead.
Yeah. It was. I think it was Louisiana somewhere.
Yes. And they were giving them good stuff, and it was just like
I think it was like Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge. I think it was Baton Rouge.
It was after something though, wasn't it?
Was it
like
after WrestleMania?
Holiday?
I don't know if it was 2018 or 2019, but they were there.
I remember.
I think it was 2018,
and they were not reacting to anything. I think they had some debut, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
you could have had Hogan against Austin, and they would be like clueless.
They were terrible, and I remember watching. I was like, "This crowd sucks." I'm like, but man, so but SmackDown started off with John Cena, so making good on his promise.
I was so laughing. So apple dough.
Cena comes out and following up his promo from Raw this week, and I like that he acknowledged that he did escape the alternate universe of the Firefly Funhouse, but he didn't say how.
Thank God.
He didn't say.
I mean, look, Bray Wyatt was killed, so
his powers got real. I mean,
he reversed the spell.
This is like something out of Family Guy, where they escape. When Stewie has this time machine, him and Brian go on their adventure, and they get out of some alternate universe.
Okay, I like that. If the Fiend is gone, then all the powers that he was holding on to got let go, and Cena was freed. That's a good story. Okay, yeah. I think they should go with that.
Yeah,
that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
And then Cena, he witnessed.
Cena has no idea that he was lit on fire
when the Fiend pooped his pants. That released Cena.
It was seepage.
He released his bowels, his seepage, whatever you want to call it.
You're focused on his ass. You don't know if there was stuff coming out of his eyes, his nose, his mouth. I mean,
it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
That's all his poop. That's his power right there. So, but
power is to put smiles on people's faces.
This is not South Park.
So, he challenges Roman Reigns to a match at SummerSlam. And so, they're kicking into high gear already, trying to build up that match for SummerSlam next month. But Paul Heyman comes out and just says Roman will come out on his own terms, and then starts singing John Cena's theme song. And it was amazing. Yeah. He sounded pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Doing it from his mouth.
That was the first time in quite a while we've got an entertaining Paul Heyman segment. Not saying that Paul Heyman's not good. It's just, usually he's putting the spotlight on Roman.
Putting his talent over.
Exactly.
It was the one that he sang it and walked out. Like I was waiting for him to pop back out, and it never happened.
Yeah. So I guess we'll kind of combine all of this. So we saw Finn Balor wrestle Sami Zayn.
Yeah,
great match.
He's looked great,
awesome. I like how, because I think a lot of people are concerned Richard, let me ask you this. Like, what kind of Finn Balor are we getting? Are we getting NXT Finn Balor that we just saw? Or are we getting Finn Balor previously on the main roster where he's more like smiling and kind of...
I want the NXT Finn Balor.
And I think we're kind of getting a hybrid of both. I mean, he's still doing the gun gestures and stuff with his fingers.
I think him coming out and smiling was more so like, holy crap, a crowd again.
Just the emotions.
You know, like because if you look at everyone throughout all of the shows so far, it's just been like these giant smiles from everyone. Charlotte Flair goes from smiles, and once she gets her bearing, she's flipping people off. Yeah. And you get John Cena smiling and kind of laughing at Paul Heyman during his thing. Karrion Kross smiling when Jeff Hardy comes out and he hears that pop from the crowd. Like you're seeing that all over everything because they haven't had an audience in 70 weeks. So,
I mean, great match. I mean, between the two of them, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn. I mean, it was really good. So Finn Balor picks up the win, and we thought he was done for the night. Jump ahead to the last segment after which Uso was it? Jimmy Uso defeated Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing we don't need to talk much about that because I feel like they're going to be going back and forth for weeks leading up to SummerSlam. But after Jimmy wins, then we see Roman Reigns come out to the ring, and he pretty much says no, he does not accept John Cena's challenge for SummerSlam. And then sure enough, Finn Balor comes out and challenges Roman Reigns to a match. So kind of an interesting monkey wrench being thrown into the plans. I wonder if this is setting up... I mean, I'm guessing there's going to be a match between the two of them.
I don't know what the setup is for this. Because this is a monkey wrench that's a real good trick pony monkey wrench. So,
yeah.
like it's like, because like you could look at it several different ways as... This is just another guy for him to eat up. Or Vince might also look at him as someone that he let go in NXT longer than he wanted, and he needs to pick that back up where he left off with him.
Or
because like typically when someone like Jim Ross always says, if you get stale somewhere, go away and learn another trick. And he went away and became like a killer in NXT again. So I'm wondering if that's I mean, look, clearly Vince thinks extremely high of this guy because he made him his first Universal Champion when he could have made it Seth Rollins, which either one is a great choice. So it's like, to me, he's got to see him in a high regard and to conceive that the guy also carried NXT for the last year or so.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. So Roman does accept the challenge. So I wonder, are they going to have a match right before SummerSlam? Does John Cena get involved? It costs him that match. Therefore, the guarantee Roman versus Cena at SummerSlam. And then, I mean, listen, we know John Cena has to film a movie right after SummerSlam, so he's not winning at SummerSlam. I mean, the odds
Did anyone really think he was going to win?
No, I mean, probably not. But I mean, you know, there's probably still some people who believe that Cena was going to win or not. But so with that being said, I think that's just maybe setting up the foundation for Roman's next opponent after John Cena. This could be, so what's September? September's usually what, Clash of the Champions?
Clash of the Champions.
Or Clash of Champions.
Clash of Champions.
So, October, actually, I don't know if they fully announced the pay-per-view schedule. Let me see if they've, I'm looking at their website real quick. Clash of Champions.
And then Hell in a Cell.
Well, no, but Hell in a Cell was in June.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
But anyway,
matters.
but you know, it's setting up, you know, Roman's next opponent, which give me that. Yeah, Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, that's going to be awesome. Especially how Finn really, you know, handled himself in NXT. That's going to be awesome matchup. I think, you know, Finn does really well with larger opponents, as we saw with Brock in the past, Karrion Kross. So this is going to be really exciting. So I cannot wait for this, how it plays out. And Finn's a good opponent. I wonder if Finn will lose, and then maybe he'll bring back the Demon for a rematch or something. So we have not seen the Demon in a long time. I mean, which, good or bad? I mean, I mean, I think it's good if you save it for big moments that, like, he digs deep down from within. Like, that's his last resort to get a victory over someone. So,
well, the last time we saw it was that match that he had with AJ. That was supposed to be Bray versus Finn, but Bray got sick.
Yeah. So,
That's when Kurt Angle was still around in wrestling.
That's right.
That's how long ago it's been.
It's been a couple years now.
Demon.
Also, we saw a couple matches play out over in Atlanta, Georgia at the Tommy Wilson.
No, it was Miami.
It was Miami?
Miami Gardens.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was at the
Rolling Loud.
Rolling Loud Music Festival. Largest hip-hop festival in the country. So,
yeah.
Were you watching the live stream of that, Danny?
No, I wasn't.
But they
In
had
your Metallica shirt there?
But, yeah, he really stood out.
I was watching. So we saw Angelo Dawkins take on Chad Gable.
Yeah.
And we saw
That was stellar.
That was a good match.
Angelo Dawkins, he can work, man.
I haven't seen him in a solo match since he was like on his own in NXT. And when he was on his own, I thought he was the shit. And he was really, really
He's really come a long way. So I wonder if oh my God, Montez Ford. I hope he's okay. He's probably still recovering from whatever surgery he had recently.
But did you get a sense that having the ring right there on the stage at a concert festival, it just felt like I was at Club Nitro.
They were exactly
like Club La Vila, Spring Break.
To me, I got a total nostalgia vibe of Road Wild when it got to nighttime.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
I
loved it.
Well,
here's the thing.
I've been to the Aftershock Festival up in Sacramento when NXT was there.
Yeah.
And they had them in a tent way from the stage, like in the middle of the grounds, like away from the stage. And so you had to go in there separately away from the music. I remember I was watching where a match it was, but like off to the side, to my side, Jane's Addiction was performing. So it was really cool. Like Jane's Addiction was the soundtrack as these matches were going on. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, in this situation, the ring was on top of like the main stage.
Yeah.
And so they said 200,000 people were there or something like that crazy.
It felt like I was at Club La Vila 1997 for WCW.
What do you think, though, them being there? You think that's a smart business move?
Very, especially since they televised it.
So you get like a younger audience, maybe people watching there will dig it and maybe go watch WWE next week.
It also establishes WWE's power in the market.
Yeah.
And that, look, I mean, it's a hip-hop festival. You assume all they're having is hip-hop there. And then in the middle of this, you've got the WWE on their main stage when they probably have 5 or 6 other stages there.
Yeah.
And it's not in a tent. It's on the main stage in front of 100,000 plus people.
Wale comes out, introduces the Street Profits. That was cool. Bianca Belair when it was her match.
Whale was out.
Yes. And then Bianca Belair, cool. She comes down, walks down like the catwalk down through the audience. I thought that was really cool. But I was trying to watch the crowd, and you could tell some of them were kind of not into it. You can hear they were piping in crowd noise for that. So
but the visual of it all, I love. I hope that they do that with more festivals, because I just thought it was so cool looking.
They're going to go on tour, the festival tour.
I was wondering that. I'm wondering, could WWE pull off like a festival?
Oh, like a music festival?
Yeah, like the way they set up music festivals, where they have a giant space where they could have X amount of people there. Because I've been to Coachella 8 times or so.
Outside Lands.
Aftershock.
The Big Four.
Bottle Rock.
Big Four. I went to the Big Four.
Yeah.
I was there. But it's I think WWE could pull something off like that, where you could have an NXT area and an NXT UK area. Converge everybody into one space.
So you have multiple rings and bands performing as well. Is that
you could do that? You could have Poppy somewhere, and the surviving members of Motorhead.
Yeah, or
Whale. You could have Whale there.
Oh no! Who does
Snoop a Loop?
Yeah, no. Oh my God, who does other theme songs for WWE in the past?
Airborne.
R-Truth has an album.
Shinedown. They did the Raw. Or their song was used for Raw. Nickelback as well.
Airborne.
All the Raw theme songs and SmackDown. AC/DC does SmackDown.
Union Underground.
Digital Underground.
No, that's a different group.
Okay, so then, so it'd be cool. Yeah, if they have if they could do a festival with wrestling, music, comedians, maybe or something. Because, I mean, listen, they do their own version of a big outdoor festival when it comes to WrestleMania and SummerSlam this year, where it's like big outdoor football. But you're saying kind of like have multiple
outdoors
events or tents and stuff. That'd be kind of interesting if they could pull that off. So
they could pull it off.
Maybe that's
if you think about it, it's way harder logistically to do it with music because you have to take everyone's gear and swap everyone's gear. With wrestlers, they just need a place to change their clothes.
That'd be interesting.
You're not bringing in all that equipment and the amps, the guitar racks, the guitars, the drums. Like, you just need a ring that's stationary.
Yeah, I was just gonna say though, from a business standpoint, get that crossover appeal by them performing at this festival. It was good, like new, fresh eyeballs who maybe used to watch WWE as a kid. These are older people in attendance. They're like, oh, WWE, maybe they'll start watching next week. And so from a crossover standpoint, it makes sense. So Bianca Belair retains her title, and she looked like a star just going down the ramp. Like I said, it was very cool. So.
Think about this. Think about this. I've done. I think the last year I went to Coachella, I paid $350 for 3 days. $380.
Mm-hmm.
You times that by 100,000 people. You're going to tell me Vince isn't interested?
Oh yeah, he will hear all possible business opportunities and Nick.
And that's just on tickets. That's just tickets.
Yeah, not merch and meet and greets and. Yeah, streaming.
Big crash Peacock with all the content that's live.
It'll be flickering again.
But apparently it's not hard to crash Peacock.
No. Just two other things, just power through real quick. Edge, I thought could cut a great promo.
Loved
looking
it.
for payback against Seth Rollins. And then Seth Rollins come out. Dude, his comeback was so great, just connecting the last 7 years.
Seth has a fire lit in him again. He has been on hold for a long time, and he's ready to be the main event guy again.
Listen, I want to be a big fan of Seth as a baby face, but he's so much better as a heel.
He's such a good heel.
Tommy, what do you think of Seth, like the way he just laughs?
Yeah, it's just that nasally kind of just
cackle, like
cackle.
The Joker almost. He's like, I wonder if he's inspired by the Joker by
totally.
Oh my God, what's his name?
Joaquin
Phoenix's Joker.
That's a good Joker. That's a good Joker.
It is a good Joker. So
better than Heath Ledger.
I mean, it's two
I
different.
like Joaquin more.
Okay,
really?
I like Joaquin more.
Interesting.
Because I'm a Heath Ledger guy.
Yeah, so it's
Heath.
Yeah. But yeah, it's setting up. This is obviously setting up their match for SummerSlam. We're gonna get that. So, I'm looking forward to.
SummerSlam's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be very crazy. It's gonna
really, really great. Goldberg and Lashley, Edge and Rollins, Roman and
Cena.
We don't know. Cena, maybe.
Cena. I mean, the tag titles. I'm guessing it's probably gonna be Omos and AJ versus RK Bro. That's that's money right there if you do that.
Mysterios against the Usos rematch.
Usos, yeah. Apollo. Oh, that's the other thing. So we saw Big E come out and he was trying to. I was gonna say real quick. I liked his promo. It was short, but I like how serious he was, but still was cracking jokes. And I kind of hope that's the model we're kind of go with for him to get that main event.
He just needs to focus.
Yes,
he needs to not get out of control because when he gets all lit up, he's screaming and blah blah blah, like he loses me there.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I can't defend the guy, and it's just like, oh my God, dude.
So
be a champion.
Yeah, if they're starting to mold him into more of a main event personality, that's how you do it. What we saw this week, and then we saw Apollo come out, and then we saw Cesaro, Shinsuke, Dirty Dogs, and apparently. We saw them all fight and then went to commercial, and then after commercial they went to the festival. But apparently in-house in Cleveland they got the 6-man tag, the baby faces versus heels. So that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, good to cater
Can we just talk about Baron Corbin already, please?
So, yes, Baron Corbin. Can
I set this up, please? Can I set this up?
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
So Kevin Owens is in the back. He walks by Shotzi and Knox, and they're working on the tank, and the tank isn't firing the missile, which I thought was a brilliant setup. And then he walks up and he sees Baron Corbin, who's got food stains all over his shirt.
Canned spaghetti.
Chef Boyardee.
And Kevin Owens asks him if that's the same shirt even that he wore last week, because last week he had a stain on the shirt in the same place. Mm-hmm. It's just it was yellow last week. He tells him, that he's really down on his luck, and that the guy that he paid to set up the website for his GoFundMe, but his version of that was, stole all the money.
Corbin Fund. Yeah.
Corbin Fund took all of his money and ran. So now he's got even less money than he already did. And asked Kevin Owens if he can spare him some money. And Kevin
take a bus.
tells him, yeah, he had to take a bus. And do you know what that's like to take a bus?
Go on, what does it smell like?
Jeez. Like,
and Kevin told him that he's a real jerk to people. And he tells him that he's sorry. And then Kevin decides that he's going to give him some money, which I thought was funny because he gives him the money. And immediately the cannon on the tank works again, hits Corbin and the yam bag. He falls over, and then the Dirty Dogs came over and stole the money. And then you find out that Kevin only gave him $20.
Yeah. Or it looked like it was.
yeah, I was trying to figure out how much he gave because he'd come
He gave
back.
him in small bills.
Oh,
it's
because Kevin comes
here's,
back.
Here's what's in my wallet, and you think like, oh god, there might be a couple $100 there, but it's small bills, so it's $20.
But Kevin comes with the chair. And did the Dirty Dogs drop the money? It was such a quick camera cut.
No.
They took it and ran.
No,
So
they took it and
so
ran.
he has to beg and plead in humility. Then he gets hit in the gonads,
So,
and then he gets mugged, and then he's left there to die.
and so let me ask you this. Do you think this is the beginning of a babyface turn for Baron Corbin? Is this what you want?
I don't know.
Do you
I don't
want
know.
that?
I'm just here for the ride for this one.
Him aligning himself with Kevin Owens? I mean,
Doesn't this remind you of DDP in the mid '90s, where he was like down on his luck? Remember during the Nitro days?
I'm trying to remember that one. No, but what
outside when he stopped doing the diamond stud thingy,
Yeah,
he's kind of becoming the master of the diamond cutter.
yeah. He was like down
Yes.
on his luck, and he was like after shows he would have to hitch a ride. You don't remember this?
I slightly do.
I totally remember.
Okay,
this.
well, how about this? Like Kevin Owens, listen, he's known for being bad or mean to people. So if anyone who knows what Baron's going through right now, it's Kevin Owens. So
I think they should go even farther and send him to NXT, where he'll lose in NXT. And I think Cameron Grimes should be the one that get him out of this rut.
he's looking for extra money, so he's working
Extra
extra
work.
matches in NXT.
How great would that be if LA Knight shows up at his house to get some work done, and he sees that Baron Corbin's doing the work and not Cameron Grimes?
Oh, that would.
Oh, that would be a great Easter egg, just connecting the universes together. That would be pretty good. No, but it's just funny because, like, I wonder if they're going to be a tag team. They're probably going to, the two of them are going to work together. They're going to probably take on the Dirty Dogs next week. That's my guess. What's probably going to happen. So, yeah, but the evolution of Baron Corbin, this is good because he's been kind of doing the same thing for a while.
He's the king for 2 years.
Yeah, so this is good. Something different, kind of humbling him, and how he's going to recover from it. It's great. And then we saw Toni Storm make her debut, defeated Selena Vega.
She looked great.
And did her Storm 1 finisher, which was cool.
That was very cool.
We saw a variation of it on NXT when she took out Zoe Stark, I think it was, with it. So
Just came out of nowhere. It's great.
yeah, so it's a really cool finisher. I do like her other finisher, where it's like the power bomb. I like that one too. I mean, she has a great arsenal, and I think she should do amazing in on SmackDown, just because I think she has that whole total package. You know, I think she's like a female Shawn Michaels. You know, the rocker look and everything.
They need to put Zelina Vega in a tag team until she gets her ring legs back.
Yeah,
She has not had. She is nowhere near where she used to be when she was in TNA. Because she used to be a very, very skilled and talented wrestler, and it just feels like she looks lost in there.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
and I wonder how they're going to use her moving forward. Like, is she going to get a push, or is Toni Storm? I think Toni Storm is a great opponent that Bianca Belair can eventually take on, but I think
yeah.
Toni Storm is better as a heel, and so I hope. I don't know. We really couldn't tell how she was acting here. It was
I think they're trying to let the audience decide how they feel about her
yeah
right
yeah,
now,
yeah,
because she's at a place right now where she can go either way, and just let them decide.
Yeah. So, but I think Toni Storm, after Bianca's done with Carmella, Toni Storm could be a great next opponent for Bianca Belair. So yeah, good stuff on SmackDown as well. So,
what about Roman? His promo at the end.
Oh yeah, it was great. Just acknowledge me, Cleveland. Yeah. So I like that. If you go City,
even more so, him saying that John Cena's like missionary position.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, he's like calling out John Cena. Man, it's so boring. You just he plays the greatest hits. You do the same thing over and over, and that's boring. It's like missionary every night. Boring. And the crowd popped because getting a little risque with the language there, or like paint a picture for the fans at home. Yeah. I wonder how many kids in attendance went home that night in the car asking their parents, "Mom, Dad, what's missionary?" That was my
missionary is.
Hey, you got to learn. You got to tell them about the birds and the bees.
Roman kicked off a lot of kids' as birds and the bee talk. That night.
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh man, he really is the head of the table. He is the leader of everyone's household of discussions like that. So
this is what everyone wanted from him.
Yeah. Oh, it's
everything
great.
that they wanted.
It's great, and I like he's wearing the white shirt now. You just it's just have a different look. He's like looks just huge in it. So. It's all cool, man. Good stuff. All right. On that note, let's start wrapping things up. Richard, where can all the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me at My Pillow on Instagram, and please send your hate mail to @BabyHuey83. He'll report back to me what you guys say. So
absolutely, I will. Tommy, how about yourself?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at IronFist1982.
I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram, as Richard just said, at Baby Huey83. For everything else, at In The Kliq. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave a comment. Also, subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform. Get the merch by clicking the link in our bio. InTheKliq@gmail.com. All that good stuff. We can't thank you enough for all the support. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line because Huey said so.